All for W now, stand up, holler.
A football player's life is not limited to just an athletic field, a stadium, and the cheers of a crowd. He must begin his day in the classroom. Steve Cursis works on an English assignment with Reggie Harrison. Cursis is the Generals' backfield coach. Harrison played halfback for the Generals. He was elected to the All-Metropolitan, All-District, and All-State teams. Reggie led the area in scoring with 21 touchdowns for 126 points. Blocks by Woodbury and Sills enable Harrison to turn upfield and get help from Brian Hilburn, Paul Wegner, and a good downfield block by Roberto Civet. Jack Gorman springs Harrison on an inside trap, and with the help of a block by Barry DeMar, Harrison turns upfield toward the goal line. Harrison gets blocks from John Strom and Bob Keith on an inside power play, and with some fine running, picks up yardage. A good back must also be able to run with power. Reggie uses his size to good advantage in this game. Assistant coach and psychology teacher Dana Pond works on a problem with Barry DeMar. DeMar was awarded for his outstanding play by being selected to the All-Metropolitan, All-District, and All-State teams. Number 75, Barry DeMar opens the hole for Paul Wegner against George Washington. DeMar teams with Jack Gorman to open a huge hole for Harrison. DeMar and Roberto Civet clear the way for Steve Jenkins. Opposing backs meet DeMar from his defensive tackle position. Barry led the defense with 67 tackles and 49 assists. Fullback Paul Wegner gets some individual algebra instruction from Miss Sue Stevens. Paul was also an outstanding linebacker and was elected to the All-Potomac District first team at that position. Quickness and drive are two necessities for a good back. Wegner displays both in this game. Wegner also needs blockers to get him large gains. John Strom opens the hole and Norris Sills throws the first key block. Number 83, Paris Woodbury, and number 86, Roberto Civet clear the way downfield. Paul gained 549 yards and 96 carries for a 5.17 yard average. Trap plays. Here's an example. Gorman springs the trap for Harrison against GW. Again, Gorman pulls on a long trap to get Harrison through. Paul Wagner gets a clear path through the Fairfax line by this block. Jack, number 67, also made his presence felt against the opposing offensive teams. Senior guard Joe Carroll takes a break between classes for a little chat with Sue Saunders. Washington Lee's outstanding athletic director, John Youngblood, joins the couple and gives his well wishes for the future. Number 64, Joe Carroll, throws a key block to open the hole for Wagner. Harrison gets help as Carroll leads him on a power play against Fairfax. Defensive ends have to be tough outside. Here, Joe plays two St. John's blockers to make the tackle. Junior quarterback and tri-captain for 1969, Mike Owens is joined by teammates and captains John Strom on the left to tackle and fullback Steve Jenkins on the right. Mike was a defensive back and filled in for Hilburn. Mike breaks up a pass in this game against Fairfax. Owens drops back and hits Wagner on a delay pattern against St. John's. Recognizing a blitz for the St. John's line, Mike checks off into a screen pass to Harrison. On the right, Steve Jenkins, a hard-nosed blocker and runner from either fullback or halfback. Steve takes a handoff from Owens and blasts his way for an 8-yard gain. Jenkins gets a block from Don Pierce and picks up 15 yards and a first down against GW. As a defensive linebacker, number 43, Steve is an aggressive, hard-hitting individual. Jenkins and Hall combine this time to stop George Washington's offense. John Strom on the left moved into a starting lineup position at right tackle and guard on defense. His number is 71, and John Strom blasts open a hole for Harrison to get valuable yardage. John also met the challenge on defense as he gets through to drop the quarterback for a loss. Two boys who'll be counted on heavily in 1969 are 6'3", 215-pound Bill Volkert on the left and 6'4", 220-pound Mike Lanigan on the right. Both boys were starters on the defensive unit in 1968. Joining the boys is Washington Lee's fine principal, Mr. O.U. Johansson. Lanigan wears number 76, and here he combines with Jay Besson, a 6'3", 240-pound junior, to drop the quarterback. Size, strength, and quickness aid Mike in halting this play. Lanigan breaks two blockers to get to the St. John's ball carrier. Bill Volkert, number 73, gets the angle on the quarterback and with the help of 6'4", 235-pound guard Ed Shepard, throws him for a loss. Ed also is another junior. Volkert crushes this offensive thrust. Pursuit, you know, means speed, which Bill has to catch this back from behind. Number 73 smothers the ball carrier. The hard-hitting Pursuit causes a GW fumble. Fighting off a double team, Volkert gets to a Wakefield ball carrier. Head wrestling coach and psychology teacher Guy Cavallo gives some encouragement to Roberto Civet, who is a fine junior end. Strength is important during the season. Gary Hall started every game at linebacker in 1968 and hopes to have an equally good year in 1969. Gary wears number 61. Here he drives forward to meet the ball carrier. Lateral movement is important to any linebacker. This sweep is cut down by Gary Hall. Hall plays the block and moves in on the back. Well wishes are passed around to 4 players by their classmates and fans: Barbara Lecomte, Marcia Helwig, and Ann Grantham. The group is joined by team chaplain Reverend Herb Lauder. Don Pierce, upper right, is a senior who saw plenty of action at center, defensive guard, and on the bomb squad. Pierce wore number 52, and where the action was, there was Pierce. On the kickoff, Pierce is third down from the top. On this tackle, Pierce is helped by junior guard Paul Covey. Pierce breaks down the blockers to give Paris Woodbury a clear shot at the ball carrier against St. John's. Here, Don goes all out after a Yorktown ball carrier. Norris Sills was the General's right halfback. Norris averaged 4.3 yards per carry. On a counter, Sills goes for 11 yards. Here, Sills follows Gorman through for a 9-yard gain. Blocks by Keith and Jenkins and a twisting run get Sills 10 big yards. The middle of the defensive line was shored up by Fred Carmichael. Number 72, Fred Carmichael, proves to be tougher than the Fairfax line as he stops these 2 plays. Defensive guard Richard Bailey is on the right. Number 77, Dick Bailey, is an aggressive defensive player. Bailey crashes into the offensive backfield to drop the ball carrier for a loss. At 6'3" and 205 pounds, Bailey puts on a good rush to get to the quarterback. The Generals look for revenge against Fort Hunt after last year's defeat by the Federals. After the kickoff, Washington and Lee has the ball on the Fort Hunt 48 as Hilburn gives to Wagner, who breaks loose for 18 yards. Harrison gets 11 more to the 29. 3 plays later, Harrison blasts in for the score. Fort Hunt's lead at the half was quickly erased. W&L's defense held and forced a punt. Harrison takes the ball in his 38, and with blocks by Caruso, Finta, Volkert, Keith, Hall, and Pierce, he goes the distance for the score. Paul Harding's kick is good. W&L starts another drive from their 11 as Stephen Jenkins breaks loose up the middle. Aided by a good downfield block by Civet, he gets 34 yards. With a ball on the W&L 48, Owens hits Harrison on a spectacular one-handed grab for 52 yards and a score. Another score comes when the defense, led by Paul Caruso, gets the ball for the offense. On the first play, Owens calls for an option, and with the blocking of Strom, Woodbury, Owens, and Nash, Harrison bulls in for the TD. Once again, the defense is called on, and when the Federals try to throw, Steve Jenkins makes a one-handed interception and returns it 23 yards to the Fort Hunt 18. 6 plays later, Harrison blasts in for his 5th touchdown of the night. Later in the game, the Federals are trying to get on the board when Gary Hall intercepts, and he goes 19 yards to end the game. always tough St. John's came to pay a visit to War Memorial Stadium and fell victims to WNL. St. John's and WNL can always look forward to a hard-hitting, bone-rattling game. During the first quarter, this game proved to be no exception. The defenses and the offenses met head-on. St. John's scored first on a touchdown and a safety and took a quick 9-0 lead. In the second quarter, WNL starts to drive. Owens gives to Sills behind blocks by Strom, Civet, and Jenkins. He goes to the Johnnies' 37. Owens hands to Harrison, who bursts through to the 23. On a counter trap, DeMar springs Harrison, who gets 15 yards to the 9. Harrison to the 5. Jenkins leads Harrison to the 1. Strom, Woodbury, Sill, and Jenkins open a hole, and Harrison blasts in. WNL received at the beginning of the half and fooled everyone, including the cameraman. The entire team lined up on the opposite side of the field. Mike Owens casually walked over to the ball and centered it across the field to Harrison, who had 10 blockers in front of him. Harrison weaved his way 67 yards for the score. In the fourth quarter, WNL again moved toward the St. John's goal line. Gorman throws a key block for Harrison, who gets to the 32. Then, on the same play, Harrison goes to the 17. Wagner gets the call, and he goes to the 8. This time, it's Harrison to the 5-yard line. Now it's Wagner's turn. He drives to the 1. St. John's defense held here, and the Johnnies' offense took over the ball. Now it was WNL's defense who were called on to come through, and come through they did. They held St. John's and forced a safety to win the game. T.C. Williams was the Generals' next opponent. The WNL offense starts in their 43. Owens gives to Harrison, who gets to the TC 46. Owens hits Civet for 11 yards to the 35. Owens then passes to Jenkins at the 25. 3 plays later, Harrison, behind Strom, Woodbury, Wagner, and Jenkins, rolls in for the score. Harding's kick is good. The defense of Caruso, Volkert, DeMar, Gorman, Lanigan, Carroll, Ross, and Wagner stop the Titans and give the ball to the offense. WNL takes over on their 36. Owens gives to Wagner to the Williams 45 and a first down. Strom and Gorman lead Harrison to the Titan 40. Owens rolls out and hits Woodbury at the 4-yard line. 2 plays later, Wagner goes in for the score. Here's Harding to add the extra point. WNL's defense halts the Titans, and Gary Hall drives in to partially block the punt. With the ball on the 41-yard line, Owens gives to Wagner behind Carroll and Nash for 13 yards and a first down. Owens gives to Harrison, who swings wide and goes out at the 10-yard line. Wagner goes 5 yards behind the blocks of Harrison and Jenkins for the score. Harding's kick is true. In the fourth quarter, Owens passes to Civet to the Titans 30. Two plays later, Owens runs a bootleg. 25 yards for the score. And Harding adds the final point. Wakefield's Warriors became the next team to fall to W&L, but only after a hard-fought game. It was a defensive struggle through the first half, with Wakefield scoring on a blocked punt in the third quarter. At the close of the third quarter, W&L's game came alive. Owens pitched to Wegner for a first down. On a sweep, Harrison picks up 26 yards to end the quarter. Nash and Carroll open a hole for Wegner. Harrison grinds out short yardage. Harrison, behind good blocking, drives for the tying score. Then Harding, number 12, puts the Generals in the lead 7-6. Greg Murray sets up the winning touchdown as he intercepts on the Wakefield 43. On a 1st and 10 from the Warriors' 29, Owens calls a bootleg and hits Woodbury for the touchdown. Games between O'Connell and W&L are not for the weak. This clash is always a hard-hitting affair. W&L's defense starts early to prove this point. Gary Hall comes through in a blitz to halt the Knights and give the ball to the offense. W&L's quarterback, Brian Hilburn, passes to Harrison to the O'Connell 25. Hilburn again. This time he hits Harrison on a curl pattern to the 25. The drive is halted here by the stubborn Knight defense. On the last play of the half, the Generals show what is to come in the second half. On a sweep, Harrison dances through the O'Connell defense. A repeat of the same play on the first play after the kickoff breaks Harrison 68 yards for the score. The Generals' defense is called on to stop the Knights' thrust for a score. Moore and Hall stop the ball carrier. DeMar halts the next drive. On a pitch, Moore and Hall again hold the offense. Mike Lanigan clotheslines O'Connell's ball carrier, and DeMar adds the finish. O'Connell's drive stops as Harrison intercepts. Harrison breaks through behind Gorman's trap and Sivett's block to be bulldogged after picking up 23 yards. Good blocking up front gives Wegner a hole, and he goes 52 yards for the score. Paris Woodbury threw a key block at the 2 to get him in. And here's Harding adding the extra point. O'Connell is stopped as Harrison intercepts again to end the game. The Generals closed the season with an impressive win over traditional rival George Washington. GW opened the game with an onside kick, which W&L's Paris Woodbury recovered at the 50. Sills and Wegner block in front of Harrison, who gets 9. Jenkins gets Harrison into the secondary, and from there, he does the rest himself. Flying Tigers kick off, and Paul Caruso and Terry Moore combine on the tackle. After a punt, Flying Tigers kickoff, and Paul Caruso and Terry Moore combine on the tackle. After a punt, Hilburn hits Sills for 14 yards and a first. Wigner turns wide and runs to the 6. Sills and Jenkins clear a path as Harrison goes in for his 17th touchdown of the year. Harrison later helps his cause by intercepting, but GW's defense halts W&L, and they're forced to punt. Woodbury, who had a 38-yard punting average, gets away a high kick that GW fumbles. On the first play at the quarter, Hilburn finds Harrison open in the corner, and he adds touchdown number 18. Harding kicks the point after. The defense halts the GW offense on excellent plays by Lanigan, Jenkins, Denede, Volkert, Bailey, Caruso, Carroll, and Hall. The ball again goes to the Generals' offense. On the first play, Hilburn pitches a perfect strike, 44 yards to Harrison for his 19th touchdown. Harding's kick runs the score to 26-0. The half ends as sophomore safety man Eugene Williams intercepts and returns 19 yards. WNL uses its onside kick to perfection to open the second half. On the first play, Strom, Carroll, Pierce, Gorman, and DeMar open a huge hole to get Harrison his 20th touchdown. Harding's kick is good. Harrison's record-breaking 21st score came at the beginning of the fourth period on this pass from Hilburn. Soccer-style kicker Ross Harding adds his final point. With all sophomores on defense, Eugene Williams picks off another pass and comes right back for 26 yards. W&L then moved Harrison to quarterback, Gorman to wingback, Jenkins to halfback, and DeMar to fullback. Harrison, at quarter, pitches back to DeMar, and with a key block by Jenkins, the All-Metropolitan tackle goes 16 yards for the first touchdown of his career. Washington Lee's sophomore team finished the game and brought down the curtain on another football season with a 46-6 win. The Washington Lee football team would like to extend its thanks to the many fans and sponsors who made this film and this season a huge success. The Generals also want to thank the Kirby Dodge people and the Arlington Trust Company for their cooperation and assistance. Your narrator has been Ray Michael.